If you've been avoiding Metroid Prime 4 Beyond because the internet told you it's boring, annoying, or a disappointment, then you're about to miss out on one of the best single-player experiences on Nintendo Switch 2. I get it, I've heard the complaining too, and it's been loud, but the game truly is better than that. Why do I say that? Because here's the weird thing. The loudest complaints about this game are real, but they're not the game. And if you only listen to that conversation, then you'll never get to the part where Beyond truly turns into that classic Metroid feeling. Quiet dread, great level design, and that obsessive feeling of, I shouldn't really be here, but I do need to see what's beyond that door. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to tell you why the early criticism is overblown, what Metroid Beyond actually nails, and how to play it in a way that makes it click. Yes, I've seen the same wave of trashy reviews and takes that you've seen. Some reviews call out the hub zone as empty, and the NPC chatter is distracting or annoying, and those criticisms spread like wildfire and became an acceptable way to just dump on the game. Somehow, the takeaway became, don't bother with this one, and that's the part that I'm here to challenge. This is a spoiler-free video that will only show early gameplay from the first few areas of the game. No story twists, no endgame specifics, and little to no cutscenes, because I want you to be able to experience those things for yourselves. Just general vibes, and why you should experience this game. I will also note that this footage was taken from the 4K 60 frames per second mode, although 1080p 20 FPS mode is also available and is very silky smooth. Personally, I prefer the 4K option. Now, let's be honest about what the early discourse of this game latched onto. 1. The desert hub, or the open zone complaints. A lot of people hit the hub area and went, wait, is this game making me commute? And some outlets straight up describe that zone as a chore. 2. The chatty companion backlash for its NPCs. Players weren't used to Prime being, well, social at all, and the companion dialogue, especially hinting, became a lightning rod. 3. The amiibo controversy. The headline version was, really? You're gating features behind plastic again? Specifically, the bike radio thing got people heated. So if you only saw those 3 talking points, I get why you'd hesitate. But here's what that coverage doesn't communicate. Those are toppings or extras. The core of the game, what you're actually doing minute to minute, ranges from excellent to straight up peak Metroid. As for the real game, when Beyond is being Metroid Prime, it's great. It understands the Prime formula at an intentional level. Explore a space that feels hostile and ancient, learn its logic, gain one ability, realize 3 earlier roadblocks suddenly made sense, and then spiral into that one more room trance. There's a reason some coverage basically says when it's good, it's really good. Basically, the dungeon-like areas and major zones are where it absolutely flexes. And it's not just layout, it's texture. The lighting, the sound design, the way the rooms feel like ecosystems instead of video game arenas. The game constantly makes you feel like you're trespassing in a place that was here long before you and will be here long after you unless you survive. This is Prime magic. Let's talk action. The combat is great, it feels good, and it's smooth, responsive, and most importantly, readable. You're not just spraying bullets. You're managing space, timing dodges, choosing tools, and learning patterns. And the bosses? This is where the game reminds you of why Metroid has always hit different. Boss fights that demand you observe first and dominate second. Reviewers have singled out the bosses and their varieties as a highlight, and I'm with them. These are the battles that you'll remember. This game doesn't just want you to win, it wants you to earn it. Now, let's talk about why the Switch 2 version matters. The Switch 2 edition supports mouse-style gaming with the Joy-Con 2, which I was using when I captured all of this gameplay footage that you're seeing. Plus, it offers enhanced visuals and performance modes. Depending on how you play, you've got the options that prioritize fidelity or speed. Even if you don't care about specs on paper, you feel it in practice. Aiming feels more precise, especially if you use the mouse option, which I like for certain boss battles. Environments pop harder, and the whole experience just feels premium. A lot of people describe it as a showcase game, and I agree. If you want to see Switch 2's strengths in a single-player action adventure, this is absolutely on that list. It is arguably the best-looking game that Nintendo has produced up until this point. Okay, but what about that stuff that everybody seemed to hate on? Sure, let's address the big complaints head-on, because I'm not here to pretend the game is flawless. I'm here to argue that it's worth it anyways, and that the bad press got out of hand. Complaint number 1. The hub desert is empty and annoying. Yes, the hub can feel sparse. It was something that jumped out at me as soon as I saw it on that first direct that featured it. Multiple reviews describe it as barren or tedious in places. But here's the reframe that makes it work. Treat the hub like connective tissue, not the main meal. Metroid has always been about tightly designed spaces where every door matters. The best parts of Beyond are still those intricate zones. The hub is basically a palate cleanser, a way to reset your brain between the heavy, puzzle-dense areas. My advice? Don't try to play it like a full open-world sandbox. Play it like a Metroid game. Go where your next objective is, grab obvious upgrades along the way, and if you're not having fun sweeping the desert, don't force 100% behavior in the first 10 hours. You can always come back later if the obsession kicks in, or if you have a new reason to go there. Complaint number 2, the companion just won't be quiet. The companion chatter became the meme, and even coverage of player reactions and early previews focus on how much it annoyed people. Some reviewers continue to run with it, and some balanced it out. Two things can be true at the same time. First, if you love Metroid Solitude, the extra commentary can feel like an interruption. But on the other hand, the backlash is louder than the actual impact. Because here's what is getting lost. You can change your audio mix, and some players have said simply lowering voice volume dramatically improved the vibe. So if you're the kind of person who plays Metroid for quiet tension, do yourself a favor. Turn down the voice volume. Keep the music and effects up, and reclaim the atmosphere. Now it feels like you are alone again, because in your head you are. But the other part of this is that these interactions aren't that long. So in my mind, it's really not a big deal. Complaint number 3, amiibo gated features. A deal breaker. I'm not here to defend the concept. I don't like when developers do this either. But in practical terms, this controversy can make the game sound more compromised than it actually is. The reporting focused on optional unlocks, like bike-related extras and a radio feature tied to specific amiibo. If that annoys you, and hey, you're allowed to be annoyed by it, here's the good news. It's not the core loop. It's not your progression. It's not the level design. It's not the bosses. It's not the reason the game is special. Those don't belong in the same sentence. Here's my real pitch. You don't play Metroid Prime for a bullet list of features. You play it for the feeling, that moment where you're lost, but in a good way, where the map finally clicks, where you remember a door from 2 hours ago, backtrack and realize you were staring at your next upgrade the whole time, where the game makes you feel smart without ever saying, "Good job, gamer." So don't let "I dislike this business decision" turn into "therefore the entire game is crap." And Beyond delivers that in a way that's honestly rare right now, especially on a big first-party release. Even people who criticize the new additions still end up describing the core experience as strong and what was expected all along. Atmosphere, classic exploration, and moments that remind you why Prime mattered in the first place. So yeah, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond isn't perfect, but the early negativity flattened the story into a few loud complaints. And if you stop there, you miss the actual game. A moody, satisfying, skillful, high-atmosphere adventure that feels like a reward for people who still want single-player games that respect their attention span. If you own a Switch 2 and you like exploration, play this beautiful game. I enjoyed completing this one, and I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I'd love to know what you liked about it and what you didn't like. Like, subscribe, and do all that YouTube stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.